Psychologists, beginning in the 1970s, began to measure people's happiness and determine what social factors increase it. One of the factors they've looked at in detail is personal wealth. As it turns out, unless you're very poor, so poor you don't have enough to eat every day, money is a very poor predictor of happiness. The same is true of health. Unless you are so unhealthy that you despair of dying, it's also a poor predictor of happiness. So then, what is connected to happiness? Many of the factors that have been discovered are those which connect back to the most fundamental principles that were taught by Jesus and that are basic to Christianity. Bible writers have been trying to tell us all along what we find satisfying: worship, giving, forgiving, being together, and gratitude. Since these are all inescapable values and practices of Christianity, it's easy to conclude that God wants us to be happy, but because of the deceitfulness of sin, we still want to pursue happiness through all the means and methods that can't possibly bring it to us. The book of Ephesians has quite a lot to say about what makes us truly rich. It speaks of the unsearchable riches of Christ, and he enumerates some of these riches that we can access through him: forgiveness, for when we feel guilty and ashamed; inheritance, which gives us hope when we feel that life doesn't hold much for us; salvation, for when we feel lost or condemned; empowerment, for when we feel weak or helpless. All of these negative human emotions that can erode our happiness and even our long-term sense of well-being are richly remedied through a relationship with Christ. The Apostle Paul is a remarkable case in point. Although he had trouble in his body, the Lord told him, "My power is made perfect in weakness." Paul took strength in these words and replied, "Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weakness, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weakness, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong." It doesn't matter how wealthy you are in the world's terms. Deep satisfaction will only be achieved through the true riches. These are abundantly available through a relationship with Christ in the Spirit.